What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Inside the Horseshoe Podcast. My name is Matt, and it's been a long time since I last uploaded a video. It's been months since I last uploaded, but you know what? That was the right thing to do. I needed to take a step back and take a break because, to be honest, for a little bit, I wasn't having fun making videos. I wasn't enjoying myself making videos. It felt like a chore to make videos. And I didn't want to be in that situation because I figured if I continued to just not have fun making videos, I would quit altogether. The channel would be deleted. You wouldn't see me on YouTube whatsoever making content. I needed to take a break, relax, and wait until the right time. Trust me, there were times where I wanted to get back and make videos because of how bad this team was. Trust me. I wanted to talk about the team and make a video talking about the team when they were really bad. But I had to wait. I wanted to wait until I felt like it was the perfect time to return. And right now, it's the perfect time to return because there's all this crazy stuff going on with the head coaches right now. You know, we're in our second stage of interviews, getting ready to potentially go into our third stage of interviews. It's pretty crazy. So today we're going to talk about the 8 candidates right now for head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. But before we do that, if you're new or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you click that subscribe button. Also click the bell icon. That way you're notified when I upload a video or when I go live. If you like this video, smack the like button. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Who do you want as head coach? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And also, if you have a Twitter, make sure you follow me on Twitter at horseshoe_pod. There's a link in the description down below. I know it's been a while, but I have that memorized to a T. So, with that being said, let's go through the list of potential candidates for head coach. I'm going to give you my opinion on these guys. So, Jeff Saturday. No. Next. No, I'm kidding. Besides the point with Jeff Saturday, look, I love Jeff Saturday. I think Jeff Saturday perfectly represents the Indianapolis Colts and what it means to be an Indianapolis Colt. He's a great man. He's great with fans. He loves this organization. He truly does. If he didn't care or just was like, yeah, I enjoyed my time. I like the Colts, but whatever. I don't think he would have been interim head coach. I think the reason why he took the interim head coach position, even with no experience, is because he loves the team so much that he would do anything for them. So I love Jeff Saturday. Great dude. He's having fun on Twitter right now too. Like there's the whole tweets going out from different athletes saying, yeah, the NFL's totally scripted. When I read the script for this, I was totally upset. And somebody posted when Jim Irsay reads the script for the 2022 season, and it's like somebody shocked. Jeff Saturday comments, I understood the assignment. I love it. I love Jeff Saturday. Some people might not like that tweet. Me personally, I thought it was funny. Whatever. But in all seriousness, I love the guy, but I don't think he's the right fit for head coach. If Jeff Saturday one day wants to be a head coach, I think he should start off as an offensive line coach. Do that for a few years, get some experience, and then maybe move up to be an offensive coordinator. And then maybe after that, he can be the head coach. Or heck, maybe he can move from offensive line coach to head coach after having 5 years of experience or so. I don't know. Maybe a team would hire him. But in my opinion, he's just not the right fit for the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. He has the energy, which is good. You need that energy. You need that leadership. He has that. He can lead men, without a doubt. I just don't think he is a good fit for us at this moment. Maybe in the future, when he gets more experience, if he's even interested in 5 years becoming a head coach, maybe at that point he could be, but as of right now, I just don't think he's a good fit. So, no the Jeff Saturday. Next up is Aaron Glenn. Look, Aaron Glenn has that energy, rah-rah type of guy. Clearly, he impressed the Colts. He impressed Chris Ballard because he got a second interview. But I just don't see why we would hire him as a head coach. I would not be for it. I would not like it. Seems like a good dude. I just don't think he's a good fit to be the head coach. He's been a defensive coordinator for 1 year. It was at the bottom of the league. It was a really bad defense. It got better towards the second half of the season, for sure. But that defense was pretty terrible. So, me personally, I don't really want him to be our head coach. I think he should stay in Detroit, be defensive coordinator. Like, I totally understand why he's taken another interview for a potential head coach spot. I totally understand why. I just personally don't really want him to be the head coach. He needs to prove to me, especially with some of the other guys on this list that are defensive-minded guys. He needs to prove that he can put together a really good defense and get a defense prepared and play well enough to be a top 10, top 5 defense. But right now, I don't really see Aaron Glenn as the right choice. So I'm going to go no on Aaron Glenn, personally. Next up is Rich Bisaccia. I believe that's how you say his last name. A lot of people are going to know him from his time with the Raiders. Not this past season, but the season prior, when the Raiders, with all the stuff going on, with John Gruden and with Henry Ruggs and just some of the things going on, the way Rich Bisaccia was able to rally those guys and get them to compete and make the playoffs and have an opportunity to beat Cincinnati in the wild card, I mean, he has what it takes to be a head coach. He's a leader of men. People are going to follow him. They're going to do what he wants them to do. There's going to be no issues with that whatsoever. I think he can put together a good locker room environment. But honestly, I just think there's people on this list I would prefer more. I think he's a good coach. I think he deserves an opportunity to be a head coach with what he showed. With what he showed with the Raiders. I don't really see him being a fit right now. Let him go somewhere at some point and actually be a head coach. But again, there's guys on this list I prefer more. We'll get into those guys in a little bit. So I like him, but I'm going to say no. I'm going to pass on him. Next up, Ejiro Evero. This is somebody that a lot of people like. A lot of people like him. He's an up-and-comer, young head coach. I believe he was the defensive coordinator for the Broncos this past season. Obviously, was with the Rams. He's an up-and-comer, like I said. I just would prefer somebody with a little more experience, personally. I think he's going to be a really good defensive coordinator, obviously. You saw what he did with Denver. I would be more than willing to take him as a defensive coordinator if we go with somebody else, and assuming Gus Bradley doesn't stay. I would definitely take Ejiro Evero as a defensive coordinator. But head coach, there's other guys I would prefer, plus I want people with more experience than Evero. So I'm going to say maybe. I would be cool with it, personally. Like, if they hired him, I wouldn't be upset. But again, give me somebody with a little more experience, then I'll be happy. So Ejiro, like him, but I'm going to take some other guys before I take him. Next up, Wink Martindale. Don Wink Martindale. I was really surprised he got a second interview, if I'm going to be completely honest. To be fair, I'm surprised that a few people on this list got a second interview. But with him, I'm really surprised. He's a really good defensive coordinator. Absolutely. He reminds me of like the defensive version of a Bruce Arians, right? That older, more gritty, tough type of coach. Really good defensive coordinator. Like I said, before we hired Gus Bradley this past season, I wanted the Colts to hire him as defensive coordinator when he left Baltimore. I wanted him in Indy. So it's kind of ironic that he's actually potentially going to be the head coach. And I'll pull up the person that actually put this out, Pat Leonard. He put out a tweet. He does a lot of the Giants stuff. He put out a tweet saying that Wink Martindale is actually a front runner to be the head coach. Now, when you talk about front runner, is it him along with two people, three people, five people? I don't know. But he apparently is a front runner to be the head coach, which would surprise me if he did get hired. But he's a good defensive coordinator. I would prefer him not to be the head coach, if I'm going to be honest. There's other guys I'd prefer. Again, I like him as a defensive mind. You're going to get a really good defensive mind if you have him be your head coach. It's just, is he going to be able to get a good offensive coordinator to come to Indy as well? That's the key. Because if you're going to go with a defensive guy as your head coach, you better get a really good offensive coordinator that can work with whatever quarterback we have coming in this offseason. So I like Wink Martindale. I think he's a really good defensive mind, but I would prefer other people. I'm going to say no. He's on the bottom half of my list, preferably. So next, we're going to talk about Brian Callahan. This is somebody a lot of Colts fans are really excited about as far as the potential of him with a CJ Stroud. I like Brian Callahan. A reason why I like him is because of who he's worked with in the past. He's worked with Peyton Manning when he was in Denver. He was the quarterback coach for the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. He's working with Joe Burrow right now as the offensive coordinator. He's worked with a lot of really good quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks under him have had really good years. He's done a lot of really good things with these quarterbacks, so it's understandable that a lot of people, myself included, would be excited about him potentially being head coach. My only concern with Brian Callahan is he doesn't call the plays. That's the thing. He doesn't call the plays, and like many people said before, that Cincinnati offense is loaded. I mean, you got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, you got Tyler Boyd. You got a lot of weapons on that team. So, is his success these past couple years with the Bengals because of the weapons he has mostly? Or is it mostly him? Is it a mix? I don't know. I would love to have Brian Callahan, though. I think for me personally, what really makes me excited about him, because normally if, he wasn't calling plays, I'd be like, I don't know. I'd probably pass on it. But for me personally, when it comes to a Brian Callahan, the fact that he was the quarterback coach for Patrick Mahomes, Peyton Manning, and then obviously working with Joe Burrow, it makes me think that even though he's not calling plays, he would be a really good head coach, and he would be really good for whatever young quarterback comes in this offseason. So for me personally, I would take him for sure. I would absolutely take him. He's one of my front runners, not the guy that I would prefer the most, but if the Colts came out and said, we have hired Brian Callahan as our next head coach, I'm perfectly okay with that. So Brian Callahan, yes, I would definitely take him. Next, Shane Steichen, offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's worked with different types of quarterbacks, not just Jalen Hurts, but he worked with Justin Herbert, and I believe Phillip Rivers as well. So he has experience working with other quarterbacks that are different, that aren't the same. Phillip Rivers was a pocket passer that could not move to save his life. I could throw a piece of lint and it would go faster than Phillip Rivers could run. So you have him. You have Justin Herbert, who's a little more athletic, can move if you need him to, but more of that pocket passer. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who is a RPO type of quarterback. He can run. He's a really good runner. He can throw the football really well too. And obviously this year, Jalen Hurts has played at a MVP-like level. I would definitely take him. I think him calling plays is definitely a benefit for sure. I like the idea that he can work with multiple quarterbacks and has shown that he can work with multiple types of quarterbacks. So if you drafted CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, they could all work with Shane Steichen. And I think he would do a really good job. Now, I'd be curious to see what his staff would be, personally. But Shane Steichen is definitely a yes in my book. I would absolutely hire him. And if the Colts came out and said they're hiring him, I would be very happy. So He's somebody I would be happy with. And then the last guy that we know of, maybe somebody will come out of nowhere, right? Maybe Bubba Ventrone will get a second interview just out of the blue. I don't know. Is Raheem Morris. He is the final guy. He obviously had an interview, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday, went for like 12 hours. It went for a long time. But he, of course, is another guy that is being interviewed. A lot of people view him as a front runner for the position. I'd be very happy. Yes, I know his time in Tampa Bay was not great. It wasn't the worst that it could have been, but it was not great. But I think since then, he's obviously gotten a lot of experience. He's been coaching for 20 years in the NFL. I believe he has experience on the offensive side as well as defense, which is obviously a good thing. He was the defense coordinator and still is the defense coordinator for the Rams, was the defense coordinator when they won the Super Bowl, did a lot of really good things, was able to get a lot of connections. So, if he gets hired as head coach, out of all these guys, he has the best chance, besides maybe Wink Martindale, has the best chance to bring in some really good pieces for the coordinator positions and other position coaches. And I think somebody that could be the defensive coordinator, assuming Gus Bradley is no longer with us, Ajiro Evero is somebody that I think could be defensive coordinator, because I don't think the Cardinals are interviewing him, and that's the only other position. So I think he might leave Denver for Indy if Raheem Morris does get hired. So somebody like him could come in, that guy that's up and coming, that a lot of people consider a very good coach. That could be our next defensive coordinator as well. I would be for it. Again, he's a defensive-minded guy, so he would need to make sure he gets a really good offensive coordinator that can work with whatever rookie quarterback we have coming in. So, me personally, if I heard he was going to be hired, I'm a very happy man. He, for a while, was my number one choice. Shane Steichen has become my number one choice since then, but it's very close between those two. And then, of course, Brian Callahan is right there as well. So, Raheem Morris is somebody I would be thrilled with if they hired. So, that is everybody. So, I'll give you guys my rankings real quick as far as who I want the most to who I want the least. So, Shane Steichen is the guy I want the most, then Raheem Morris, then Brian Callahan, then I would go Ajiro Evero, then I'd go Rich Bisaccia, then I would go Wink Martindale, Aaron Glenn, and then at the bottom of the list is going to be Jeff Saturday. So that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Probably not going to upload every day, but I will be uploading more frequently than I have in the past. So make sure if you're new to click that subscribe button. This actually went for a while. I normally don't talk this long, but there was a lot of names to go through. So we'll definitely make another video when we get an idea of who is going to be in the third round, assuming there's a third round, who ends up being our head coach, do a bunch of draft stuff, all that good stuff is going to be coming up. So thank you very much for watching. If you're new or if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you would click that subscribe button. Also click the bell icon so you're notified when I upload a video or when I go live. If you like this video, smack the like button. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Who's your top choice? Not chop. That'd be weird. Your top choice to be the head coach. Let me know in the comments down below. And if you have a Twitter, make sure you follow me at Twitter at @horseshoe_pod. There is a link in the description down below. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Matt, Bleed Blue, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch one of these other two videos. They're cool. Also, if you're new, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. I greatly appreciate your support.